Oh yeah, what up? Two Virgos in the mic. What's up? I'm LeVar Walker, comedian extraordinaire.
Yeah, and I'm K. Douglas, comedian. God damn it, I was gonna say that. Now I can't say comedian extraordinaire.
Well, we both Virgos.
I'm
so
both Virgos. Yeah,
we think the same sometimes. So
yeah, right, exactly. And we gotta get a backdrop because to me this is like I don't like the basic. Just the
you don't like the looking over the city?
No. I don't like
big city living here.
I don't appreciate that.
It's like we in New York, but we not in New York. This is all right, man. So what's up? How was your weekend?
My weekend was fantastic.
What'd you do?
I was in the Bahamas over the weekend. I was in Bimini, Bahamas, and it was a
Bimini, Bahamas.
Bimini. That's one of the small islands of the Bahamas.
Really?
Yes,
is
below.
that a private island?
It's not a private island. It's just a very sparsely populated island where people go down there to play.
Really?
And people go down there to play without having to be involved in all the hustle and bustle of Nassau or the abject poverty of Freeport.
And
so
what was the occasion?
It was my radio partner's birthday celebration.
Can you say the name? Or?
Ricky Smiley birthday bash.
What's up, y'all?
Bimini birthday bash. Yeah,
That
shit was lit too.
I'm mad he didn't invite me to this shit.
He invited a lot of people. A lot of listeners came down. Probably about 300 listeners came down. There's only 300 people live on the island.
But he could have invited me.
He could have.
See, what people don't know, okay, so with me and Special K's relationship goes back to K actually referring me to Kevin Wasson to be on the Ricky Smiley tour, so we were able to tour together on that tour on and off for about, 4 to 6 years?
Yeah, about 5 years.
Yeah, so we had a good time on that. But happy birthday to the hilarious Mr. Smiley.
Yeah, man, we had a good time. We had nice fun on the water, fun on the boat. Did a little casino, just enjoyed it, man. It was cool, and it was interesting looking at when you go into a third world situation. Yeah. It's always interesting seeing how these people live with so little, and this is gonna lead into something I wanted to talk about today. Seeing how these people live, because like I said, the island in actual inhabitants is about 300, give or take, right? So that's very small.
Right.
That's very small.
Right.
It's about 11 miles in length. I don't know how wide it is, but it's really small. You fly into Fort Lauderdale, and then you take a seaplane to get down to Bimini because they don't have an airport. And
they have 300 people that live on
the island.
Wow, and the water is clear blue.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Are you surrounded by sharks?
Yeah, they do have a lot. They got a lot of sharks.
So they tell you not to swim.
No, we swam. We got in the water. But we got in the water at the little beach, the little private beach that we were at.
Yeah.
For some reason, that's that's considered like a not so sharky area.
A not so fucking sharky.
Not so sharky.
Please.
At least you take their word for it.
But
yeah, we docked the boat. We docked the boat about 60 yards off the beach.
Yeah.
And the water was only about maybe 10, 15 feet deep, and everybody just kind of jumped off the boat and was just kind of playing in the water around the boat.
So the wife loved it.
Yeah, she loved it. She had a great time. She ain't too much into the water.
What about the accommodations?
She ain't into the water.
Were you at a resort?
We stayed at a resort hotel. They got a nice Hilton down there, and we stayed at a resort hotel. We drove golf carts. That's how you get around on the island.
Did you have ocean views?
We didn't have an ocean view. We were on the other side of the hotel, so we only had a view of the fucking parking lot.
Wow.
So yeah, that sucked. But it would have been nice to have an ocean view because that would you do when you married and you on vacation you do weird shit like we got an ocean view, you go out on the balcony and do shit.
In Bimini, what's the closest mainland?
Nassau. I think Nassau is closer. But even Nassau is like a 20-minute flight, 25-minute flight.
So do they have a ferry to put cars?
Yeah, they got a ferry. They got a ferry. And the crazy thing about it is, like, I was asking one of the people who lived there, I said, so what do y'all do for, like, how do y'all get goods and cars and shit like that? Because everybody, the people down there who have cars, they have, like, it's almost like they just have whatever kind of car they can find, and they drive it, but they're all really small. Mm-hmm. And they're all dirty, and a lot of them are broke down. Like, you see a lot of broke down cars in by the houses. And I said, what? And she said that the reason is because they have a ferry that comes in. It's like a car service. And whatever money you have, you can negotiate and buy a car. Like, you might buy a car for $400, $700, whatever.
Them shits is raggedy. It's an island full of raggedy-ass cars.
Yeah. Some of them was kind of nice, though. They had some of them that was nice.
So the richest person on the island must be a mechanic.
Now Ricky's like the governor of that motherfucker. He's royalty down there because he go there all the time.
The governor.
You know, he is like they treat him like he's like God. They love him. The local people, they love him. Yeah.
Wow.
They love him. Yeah. And there's more men than women. Way more men than women. So you don't see a lot of kids running around down there, which is weird. I said, okay, so what do the guys do for, you know, when they want to get some pussy?
And how the ladies
they just fuck the same bitches, I guess. But they
yeah, everybody on this island got to be cousins.
Yeah, but they travel back and forth to the other islands to like socialize and shit. But they don't have stores. They don't they got stores, but they're very compact and very like packed. I can show you pictures of the stores
and they have
down there.
Internet.
Yeah, they got Wi-Fi.
Could you imagine being born on that island?
I would be so mad at God.
The fuck off of that island,
bro. But see, here's the thing. And me and my wife was talking. I said, I wonder if these people are like happier than us because the stress-free status of being in a third world country. Like, just imagine all the shit you don't worry about. They don't have driver's license. They don't have registration on their car. They don't need insurance. They don't have, you know, I'm pretty sure they're not worried about
they got like
social media and all that kind of shit.
They
don't have a hospital. They got a clinic. If you got to go to the hospital, you got to be flown. You had to fly up to Nassau.
God damn, how much that? So you down the island if you don't have help?
Yeah, and I don't know what you do if you're gonna have a baby. I don't know.
They feed your ass to the sharks.
Yeah, I don't know how that works. If you're having a baby, I don't know how that works.
Well, I used to play Martha's Vineyard a lot, which is an island off.
It's
the
definitely not
of
third
Boston.
world.
It's not third world, but what they told me that the people on Martha's Vineyard, they have a lot of like alcoholism and domestic abuse.
Yeah, why?
Dude, I just think people get fucking bored, dog.
Yeah.
Like, people just get bored and they just start to abuse themselves. That's why it's important for me to work out, because this shit has really been calming my Virgo gorilla mind. It tames the beast.
All right.
You know, so now I'm pushing out endorphins right now.
But you don't really have, but you have a way less stressful life than, like, you think your life is stressful. Dude, you got 3 people to worry about. You, your wife, and your son.
Well, I used to.
You got 3 people to be concerned about. You literally don't have to give a fuck about nobody else.
Dude, and it might be stem from
and
childhood.
that's so stress free.
So my mom was a worry wart.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And you know, I grew up on the south side of Chicago, and bro, like, I was just told, look, you need to get a job and shit. So I go to pharmacy school, earn my doctorate degree. That necessarily I did it. I'm proud that I did it. But, you know, I went through all that shit. And
it wasn't a dream.
Fuck no.
Right.
Fuck no, man. I did it. I'm proud I did it. I get into school, you know, out of school, and I just felt like that's all I had, dude. Because I never really believed in entertainment as a viable way to make a living.
Right.
So I lived in fear. So I was like fucking addicted to every 2-week check. I mean, I was touring with y'all, getting my check, tour on Shack Tour, still getting my check. I doing all this shit, still going back to work because it was a fear-based mindset. Since I've let that shit go, man, I'm cool. I am a lot happier now. I can say that shit. Mm-hmm. I can say I'm a lot happier as a person.
Yeah, but here's what I'm trying to explain, and this leads into something else, because I was having a conversation with a couple of associates of mine, right? One is in his mid 40s, late 40s, so the other one is, I think, just turned 50, and we were talking about marriage, because I'm in my 25th year, so you know, doing a big thing at the end of the year for our anniversary, because it's just, you know, it's 25. So we were talking.
What y'all doing this? Y'all got married in December?
Yeah.
Nigga, I got married in December.
Yeah,
too.
we got married December 6th. Yeah.
Dude, we got married December. Oh God.
Yeah, you don't remember. You don't know. December something, but.
God damn.
I've had 25 years to remember this shit. So. One of my friends is married, and he's going through a divorce. The other one is not married, but he says he wants to be married. The one is like 50. He says he wants to be married. I'm like, and the one's going through the divorce, the reason these two situations intersect, because I was telling my boy who's 50, I said, bruh, I said, stop saying you're going to get married because you're not going to get married. I said, dude, you're at a stage in your life where that is a hill that's way too hard to climb because, dude, you are so used to being single. You've never been married. This is not this. Getting married at 50 for a man is like saying that in your mid 50s, okay, I'm gonna start rapping. No.
I mean, but there's a chance maybe he could find the right person. I don't fucking know. I mean,
because my other friend who's going through the divorce, he said that he waited too long to get married, and he got married at 44, I think. And he said he waited too long to get married, and he's so set in his ways, and she's so set in her ways that he said, I don't know how to arrange my life around the needs and the desires and of somebody else.
Did they live together before they got married?
I didn't even ask him all of that. But even if they did, I feel like if you don't do this shit by the time you 40, it's a wrap.
That shit a motherfucker, man.
It's a wrap because
so many compromises.
It's so many. That's the biggest word right there. It's compromise.
Man, you gotta do.
And men, you gonna compromise way more of your happiness to be married and stay married than a woman is.
You know,
you're going to compromise
like literally
your happiness to some degree.
Being married as a man, you primarily just trying to avoid argument.
Yeah, you every day you're trying to. Every day you're trying to
avoid a conflict.
Yeah,
like, let me do this right. I don't want no trouble.
That's what you do every day. It's like you just want to make it to the next day. See, I've been in prison before. I've been through Marine Corps boot camp. I can say that in my life, the 3 most difficult things I've done: Marine Corps boot camp when I was 18, prison when I was 32, and marriage for the majority of my adult life. Out of those 3 things, marriage has definitely been the most challenging. Because the first 2, I got used to it. After a while, like 2 months into being in prison, I got used to the routine. I got used to the situation, and it was just like, okay, all right. So I just rolled the shit out.
So you did prison time. You was in the feds, right?
Yeah.
That's a lot better prison.
Well, I wasn't behind the wall, so I was in a medium security situation. So I was at a camp.
So y'all were nice criminals.
Well, smart criminals, white collar.
That's good. Do you think you could have? How would your life would have been if you were like on Rice Street or you behind the wall?
I've been on Rice Street. I've been in the county jail. I was in county jail for the longest time. I was in county jail I was there for almost 3 months one time.
That shit is crazy.
And it was rough.
And you know what's so...
it was wild. Shit was wild. I was up there with the killers and the bad motherfuckers.
Like, Special K is the nicest guy, and he's never, talk no street shit, but he really lived that shit.
I really did live that life.
Right. Because
in my 20s, I was a different dude.
Yeah,
I was a different dude.
A lot of cats brag about that shit, and they wear it as a badge of honor.
That's what changed me.
Yeah.
When I met her, she... Because, see, what I did was I married a woman that I felt like was she was too good for me to deal with beyond, hanging out a couple of times and smash. That's as far as that really should have went because I wasn't what she needed. But because I was too bad. I was too out there. But I knew that if I had been with anybody other than somebody like her, I wouldn't have stopped doing the shit I was doing. But her goodness kind of watered me down.
It seeped into you.
Yeah, her goodness watered me down.
When you were young and in your 20s, you was like, "Hey, goddamn, you were one of them."
No. I never was I was never a Black Tony nigga. I was not that. I was just into shit that I shouldn't have been into because I was hanging around situations that made me want to be that. You know what I'm saying? I tried to mold myself to being something that I wasn't.
Do you think what caused you to get in those situations, could that have been lack of attention from your dad?
My dad was gone. My dad died when I was 21. So I never had that influence.
I mean,
I never had that influence.
When you were super young, though, was he around?
Nah, because him and my mom divorced when I was 10. I didn't have his influence for my entire teenage years except for on the phone, off and on. and visiting
that's
him off
probably
and
the
on.
most important time.
That was the
for
most
that
important
father
time.
to be there.
Dude, I was talking to my 18-year-old son last night. I was talking to Josh last night, right? Yesterday. We were talking about, his situation with relationships and like his girlfriend and he has got a couple of situations going on. And I told him, I said, cherish the fact that you got me here to guide you through this shit and to tell you about. See, and he's at an age now where I ain't got to sugarcoat shit. Cause once a boy is out there and he getting, he active, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
You got to talk that real talk to him.
And I'm glad you brought this up because I want to address the fact that in the black community, the number one problem is not the white man, it's the lack of the father in the household.
Yeah.
That is the number one problem in our community. So, brothers, beware, choose wisely. And it is very important for you to be in the house with that child.
Yeah, you gotta be there
Especially
because
a boy.
I guarantee
Especially
you.
a boy.
My wife asked me the other day. She said, so I was born in Philadelphia, but we moved to Atlanta when I was 4. My wife said, "How you think your life would have been different if you had been raised if your family had never left Philadelphia? How would your life be different?"
You'd have been dead in jail.
I said, "Yeah." I said, "I might not be here right now, or I would be a totally different person." But moving to Georgia shaped, what I became later on in life. But I lost my train of thought. What were you saying?
Nigga, I was listening to you. You were saying moving to Georgia helped you become who you
right.
are.
You were talking.
I was saying if you would have ended up in Philly, the father need to be in the house. You gotta have a dad there, man. It's very, very important, man. I'm not here without my pops.
To raise them kids. You're right. You got because do you still learn shit from your dad? And we're not talking about because some people say, okay, well, but what if your dad ain't the greatest person? Okay, but even if your dad ain't the greatest person, the nigga has some
wisdom.
He has some wisdom to give to you.
Like
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I tell my son, and he's not quite at the age where I feel free discussing all the bullshit that I've done throughout his life to him. Like I'm not free, but I go to a point and then I kind of pull back. But like I can see that when he's 25, God willing, I'm still here. I'm gonna be able to tell him the real shit. But at 18, they mind's still a little,
Yeah, the prefrontal cortex.
Yeah, you don't want to give them everything at 18. But I give them enough to know, hey, man, this is how you deal with these situations. This is how you deal with this girl. This is how you deal with your emotions. You don't want to be this dude, but you don't want to be that dude. He talking to me about his girl. I said, okay, so what did she say? He said, well, this one was, this person, she was acting like, I said, okay, well, what did she exactly say? Because I'm going to tell you, if this is what she said, I'm going to tell you what she thinking. Do she have a best friend? Oh, yeah, she got a friend. Okay, so understand that best friend knows every fucking thing about you. And she's giving her guidance on how to deal with you. And everything that you're doing is being scrutinized by this close little circle of chicks.
Yeah, you have there's a counsel.
And so you got to play that shit that way. You know what I'm saying? Because whatever you say, it's going to be laid out for the council, and they're going to make the determination of how this chick need to move.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I never had that. Here's where I was going a minute ago. I never had that. So when my dad, from 18 to 21, when he got sick and eventually died, I didn't have no guidance. I got somebody pregnant. Well, I hooked up with a chick when I was 19 or 20 that I was living with, and we was like, oh, shit, she had a kid already, and I was trying to be a stepdad and shit. I was getting out of the military. Then when I met my son's mother, I just immediately got her pregnant. Like, dude, I had nowhere to go to try to figure out this man shit. And it made me do some shit that I never would have done. I think if I'd have had what my son has, then I don't think I would have been in the situation I was in, and I would have been able to make some different choices. Because when you got a child at 22, and you have no clue what to do in that situation, because my mother and my stepdad raised my son, my oldest son, more than I did, because I had no fucking clue what to do. I was lost. I was panicked. I was lost. Me and her we didn't want to be together. Like, shit was weird, So what you said about that fatherhood, and did you see that story this week about the dude in Texas, the football coach?
Yeah.
That got shot by one of the parents, I guess it was, of one of the opposing team.
Yeah.
Now, we're talking about a 9-year-old football, 9-10 football team.
Pee-wee league, yeah.
Pee-wee league. They got into an argument over the officiating. One thing leads to another. The coach gets into a back and forth shouting match with the guy who was the brother of a former NFL player. The brother of the NFL player, pulls out a gun, shoots the coach in front of the kids, everything. That shit goes back. I guarantee you, if you trace it back, that nigga ain't got no daddy. When you have that level of a lack of impulse control, I guarantee you ain't got no daddy. Because you instill that shit in your kids early on.
Yeah.
I don't worry about now. You never say never when it comes to your kids.
Right.
But when I see some of these 18, 19-year-olds walking around here doing some of the shit they doing, I can almost unequivocally say that my 19-year-old son ain't gonna be doing that shit, because he's had certain influences that have been drilled into his brain by his parents over the years that he's gonna be. I mean, you know him. He's not gonna be that kid.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Your son is not gonna be that kid that you got to worry about. Sir. What, he had a gun in his backpack? Like, he's not gonna be that kid. Yeah. And people say, well, you don't know how kids gonna. No, motherfucker, you got a lot to do with how they turn, and that's when you find out how good your parenting was. Like, people who got kids, your son is 6 or 7.
7.
Okay, you really find out how good your parenting job was when they about
15,
18, yeah, late teens, early 20s.
I can't wait to see.
Because at this age, really you just a babysitter.
Yeah.
You just keeping him, you just make sure he watch his ass, go to sleep, wake up, eat,
Yeah.
And don't set nothing on fire. Yeah. But that's pretty much what you were doing. Yeah. But when they get, like, you ever had a dog? Like, I'm not a dog person. You a dog person? You ever raised a dog? Have you ever raised a dog from a puppy to an adult dog?
Well, I bought Samantha that dog, and then she moved in with me, so not really.
Okay. Like, raising a kid is like raising a dog. Like, you can't start, it's hard to raise a dog when he's already an adult. When you buy a dog, when you get like a rescue dog, this motherfucker like 4 years old, a Rottweiler, he kind of gonna do what the fuck he want to do until you can it's really gonna be hard to get him to conform to how you want him to. But if you get him at 6 weeks old, it's gonna make a major difference.
Yeah.
And that's what you were saying about the fathers. Like, black fathers not being in the home, and it's not always the black man's fault. Because
I know one guy who's at fault.
Who?
Nick Cannon.
Oh, this nigga. Yeah,
I just think I don't give a fuck. I'm not on Wild now, but I think that's egregious. I don't think you can just write a check and expect these children to figure it out like.
And you can't pop up like they keep showing these videos of him.
And I'm not even blaming on him, but the women.
They don't give a fuck.
The women that are doing this shit for a check.
They in it for the check, man.
Are you fucking kidding me?
They in it for the fucking check. Because I said this.
Are you kidding me?
I think child support across the nation should be capped at $300 a month. I don't give a damn.
I think the shit should be.
What?
I think it should be totally taken off the table. And I'll tell you why. Because that would hold the woman self-accountable. Because the woman is going to give man access to sex. Man gives access to a relationship.
Yeah.
So if women are, like, I'm not going to fuck you because if I have a kid and you leave, I'm fucked.
Right.
That, you take child support out, the government get out the way, I think families would strengthen.
Right. Because then men would only have kids with women that they really want to father a child with.
Because before child support, I don't know if people know this or not, Richard Pryor said it a joke. You couldn't get no pussy in the 60s. Nigga, please. You couldn't get no pussy in the 60s. Nigga, hell no.
Well, wait a minute. Somebody would get pussy in the 60s.
Well, nigga,
my mother and father were married. My mother and father
exactly.
were married. Okay.
You weren't getting that pussy, nigga. You had to put the ring on.
Yeah.
Because she didn't have, she not, no, sir. She not about to get pregnant.
And there was shame associated with out of wedlock pregnancy.
Yeah.
Like if a woman got pregnant in the 50s and 60s, we wasn't around there, but if a woman got pregnant in the 50s, there was shame to that shit. Like if you was 16 and pregnant, in a city. Like now, we ain't talking about rural. We talking about in the cities.
Teenage pregnancies have declined. Like these young ladies are not doing that shit because they want to be on Snapchat and TikTok and IG. They don't.
But they still popping them babies out now.
I think
the bigger thing is the child support. I think, and I posted this on Facebook one time that they should cap child support at $300 a month, no matter what the man's income is. That way, women will be way more discretionary about how they let themselves get pregnant, because you ain't gonna tell me that a chick that's fucking a Nick Cannon is gonna have the same amount of caution as a chick that's fucking Nick Daniels who works at O'Reilly Auto Parts. You know what I'm saying?
No.
Oh, you got to wear that condom. Oh, we not doing this on no condom. Oh, I'm gonna be on my pill. But with a Nick Cannon, she like, shit, shoot the club up, because she know that's a retirement plan.
That's a retirement.
It's a retirement plan. No matter how old you are, you have sex with a dude that's worth $80 million. You straight. You set for life.
Yeah.
And like you said, you cannot effectively parent when you have 8, 9 kids by 4, 5, 6, 7 different women. There's no way in hell you can effectively parent them kids.
You can't.
I don't give a damn how much FaceTime you do.
Bro.
I don't give a damn how much time you fly to be at this one's little league game, and you got to be in the house with that kid.
You got yeah.
Ain't no, and this is coming from the standpoint of a father, and it's criminal.
Would you say that Nick Cannon is doing a disservice to the black community by doing this?
I think you're doing a disservice to society, man. I think single parenthood is a societal crime. I think it's a crime against society. And when you say that, women get offended and say, oh, so you blaming the woman for being single moms. No, I'm not blaming. Or you're saying that single moms are the cause of. No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying that the whole circumstance is the cause of a lot of our problems. You know what I'm saying? It's a reason why I'm more afraid of a car full of young black men than I am. What did I say? But
I guess
in the inner cities.
One thing we're not covering, I'm gonna say this because we said to get rid of child support. What about when people are married and get a divorce?
That's different.
So maybe
that's different.
Yeah. So only if
that's like a severance package when if you had a job.
Only if you were married.
Yeah, if you were married and you get divorced,
period.
Then yeah,
and that'll take care of
because that's a business arrangement. It's like if I get fired from my job that I've been working at for 15 years, y'all owe me a severance package. Yeah, right. y'all need to give me something to sustain my standard of living until I can get back on my feet, because I've given you all this time. So if you're giving somebody all this time and you tried it, because every marriage ain't gonna work out. Mm-hmm. A lot of marriages don't work out. And if it don't work out, the woman shouldn't be penalized, because, hey, you can go in front of the court and say, look, I tried. He did this, he did that, he beat me, he cheated, whatever.
And I believe in giving my wife half if some shit happened.
Exactly. You deserve that because you've earned that.
Yeah.
But for you to just go out here willy-nilly and get pregnant by some dude that you ain't with, or vice versa, to get some chick pregnant that you ain't with, then the consequences of that should be on those two people.
Right. Y'all
should have to figure that shit out. Like, you shouldn't be able to go to family court and say, I want y'all to force this man to give me 30% of his paycheck because he got me pregnant. No. That shit should be unconstitutional. I don't even know how that's constitutional. Yeah. How you can force somebody to pay you for a choice that you made because you laid up there with him.
Yeah, women, y'all had the power of the pussy. Like, y'all got all.
You laid up there with it. I don't care how much you walk around talking about he ain't shit. Yeah. He wasn't shit when he was in between your legs.
Yeah, y'all got
the nigga
power.
Was getting dropped off at your house to fuck you.
Yeah, y'all.
And you felt like this was a wise roll of the dice to go ahead and man. And I tell my daughters that. I say the one thing, and my daughters are all in that age of could get pregnant, act like 27, 23, and 20. And I tell them, I say, I wouldn't be the one thing you could do to disappoint me. I don't care if you I try to coach them about job hopping, about building their credit, about finishing school if they start whatever, finding something to do with your life. I coach them on that. But the one thing I tell them about life is, yes, I would be disappointed if you came home pregnant. I'm gonna be more, and you're not married, I'm gonna be more disappointed if you come home pregnant by a dude that ain't about shit, because there's no excuse for that. You have so much control over whether that happens.
And this goes to self-accountability. Self-accountability. That should be the name of this episode.
Self-accountability. You got to be accountable for your shit.
You do.